Hi everyone. Following on from the review of Shikinami Asuka Langley in the previous upload, today I'm going to unbox the second figure in Revolve's 1/7 scale painted figure series based on the 2021 movie Evangelion 3.0+1.0 Thrice Upon A Time. We'll take a close look at Makinami Mari Illustrious, who is the EVA pilot for Unit 08 Alpha. Mari is the more recent release by Revolve in their Evangelion Last Mission figure series, having came out in February 2023, or about a year ago, versus Asuka, which was released way back in May 2022. Mari was sculpted by the same person that did Asuka, namely Nobuta. Both of Revolve's EVA female character figurines also share the same paintwork artist, namely Kawamo. That's enough facts about Mari for the time being. Let's go ahead and unbox her now. Design-wise, the box art for Mari is similar to Asuka's, with bands of purple and pink instead of orange and red. Makinami Mari Illustrious. As an aside, you might have noticed I've placed her surname first. It's just something I'm used to, as that's how it's done where I'm at, as it is in Japan. Anyway, Mari is the second of two figures in Revolve's 1/7 scale Last Mission figure series. This movie version of Mari can be viewed through the clear window at the front. She's covered in transparent plastic sheets instead of semi-opaque ones that Asuka had. Although that aside, Mari is similarly encased and rendered immobile between plastic blisters. On the left is a blown-up image of Mari showcasing her details in an enlarged view, while on the back is a more zoomed-out view that includes Mari and the entirety of the base she's on, plus highlights of the details from the back. Part of the box right side is a clear window, with the rest having a partial cutout of Mari in an extreme close-up view. With the preliminary box art perusal out of the way, let's now proceed to cut open the tape seals on the box. Similar to Asuka before her, Mari is also a pre-owned figure from Amiami that's ranked A for the figure and B for the condition of the box. I feel it's the former rating that's more important, unless you're planning to resell it, in which case both ratings are relevant. Being sealed in such a manner of course means that the Revolve figure is mint sealed in box. Though I can't say for sure, I believe all pre-owned figures tend to have their box condition ranked as B, even if the box is in near mint condition. Based on my experience shopping in Amiami so far, it's the figure ranking that varies more widely, and which a lower ranking has more serious consequences to a collector. With the tape seals cut, let me just set aside the sharp hobby knife somewhere safe first, before getting to the unboxing proper. Now please bear with me as I get Mari out of the box, plastic blisters and all. In terms of protective material, Mari is packed similarly to Asuka. They use both plastic blisters and sheets to help prevent damage, as well as in the latter's case, possibly help prevent paint transfers between parts of a newly minted figure. Well, I'm certainly eager to unwrap only the second upper tier 1/7 scale painted figure in my collection and get a closer look at all the details on this Makinami Mari Illustrious figure from Revolve. They seem to be one of the few figure manufacturers that have truly captured the essence of an Evangelion character in a near-perfect manner. Rather than bore you with the incessant chatter as I remove Mari and her elaborate base from all the protective plastic, I'll just fast forward to the end of her unwrapping process, then I'll take it from there. So with Mari and her base unwrapped, let's now give her a once-over. For this once-over of Mari, I've adjusted the camera lens for a more zoomed-in view. From this overall view of the second figure from Revolve's Last Mission series, what strikes me most is Mari seems more understated than Asuka. There isn't, to my eyes at least, any particular detail or characteristic of Mari that stands out in an exceptional manner. In terms of likeness, Revolve's Mari figure looks great, though it was regrettable her glasses doesn't contain clear acrylic lenses. And while her hair is neither as vividly coloured nor as intricately sculpted as Asuka's orange hair, it does have long individual locks on both pigtails, which are colored brown and shaded in dark umber. Mari's slim and shapely figure is wonderfully accentuated in a predominantly white body-hugging plug suit, which has color variety mainly in the form of stripes and lines of pink, grey and black. The numeral 8 on her chest and a much larger one on her back both denote her status as the pilot of EVA Unit 08 Alpha. Note also how Mari arches her back so that her posture is curved in an S shape, which is a way to accentuate her body's curves to make it look more alluring. Meanwhile, the soles of her feet have holes for attaching to metal pegs on her intricately sculpted and painted base, which we'll take a closer look at now. Mari's base comprises the same glossy black round piece at the bottom as Asuka's one, but that's where similarities end. There's not as much red organic matter on Mari's base. Instead, it's mainly filled with what looks like broken pieces of cement walls with the rebar showing, all of it painted in bright glossy red. As mentioned earlier, there are metal pegs on the base itself, located on the broken cement sculpture, 2 pegs for her right foot and 1 for the left. Use of the metal pegs are a fixture in most upper tier scale painted figures, and a welcome addition for sure, as they are less likely to break or bend, thus can hold a figure in place more securely than plastic pegs, which have been known to break. With the experience of Asuka's assembly behind me, I'm not as nervous this time around with the task of attaching Mari onto the metal pegs. I'll still have to be extra careful, of course, seeing that any slip of the hand may result in the metal peg scratching paint off the figure. Assembly will involve the usual alignment of the pegs on the base to the holes on the figure's feet, followed by pushing Mari downwards onto the base while it's resting on the table for support. I find that this method gives me the most control over the assembly process, and control equals less chance for accidental damage to occur during the assembly process. I'll just hold off on the running commentary for a bit while I focus on attaching Mari securely onto her base, so please just bear with me and listen to the background music until the assembly is done. That's Mari securely attached to her base. So with the straightforward assembly process completed, we can now proceed to a full 360-degree view of Revolve's 1/7 scale Makinami Mari Illustrious figure in her entirety, that is, the figure itself plus the base. Mari's pose, like her expression, is a haughty one, with one hand on her hip and the other hanging loosely by her side. Mari's posture complements Asuka's pose. Stylistically, both of Revolve's Evangelion Last Mission scale painted figures match up well. While Mari stands at about 24.5 cm from the bottom of her feet to the top of her head, the entire vignette measures at 27.5 cm from the bottom of the round black base to the top of Mari's head. Mari's height in terms of the figure, including as well as excluding the base, indicates shelf presence for the former and Evangelion character accuracy for the latter. While the former is self-evident, perhaps the latter needs some explanation. Based on available data, Mari is 5 feet 2 in height versus Asuka, who is only 4 feet 11. And this difference is reflected by the Mari figurine, since the base being a whole centimeter taller than Revolve's version of Asuka. Upon your first glimpse of Mari, it's obvious she is at a disadvantage compared with Asuka when considering the sculpt and paint job of the Eva girl's hair. By character design, Mari's hair has less volume as well as a less vivid color. As such, Mari lacks an attention-grabbing characteristic from the get-go. Nonetheless, Mari stands tall in her own right, starting with an excellent posture that befits her self-confident nature. There's also other specific details in this Mari figurine that makes her special, which we'll look at now in close detail together with her hair. Mari's brunette hair has been tied into twin pigtails, both of which were fairly intricately sculpted to show long wavy locks of hair. That the hair has highlights and shadows painted on it serves to enhance the sense of depth and 3D space it occupies. Accessories on Mari's hair are simple and functional and consist of the indigo headband with what looks like large white hair clips on either side of her head. as well as the two dark pink elastic hair ties for the twin pigtails. Mari's burgundy glasses and teal-colored eyes are accurately represented in this Revolve scale painted figure, and in terms of likeness to the anime character's face, Revolve also did a great job, with my only complaint being her glasses lack lenses, which they could have mimicked using a pair of clear acrylic plastic sheets. And the way her locks of hair are swirling around behind her lend a sense of dynamic movement to the figure's largely standing pose. Mari's predominantly white plug suit is made interesting color-wise, with the addition of stripes, lines and patches of pink, light grey and black, just enough so that the added colors do not overwhelm the overall whiteness of her plug suit. The numeral 08 is etched in pink into the upper chest area between her breasts, as well as on her back, with the latter being much larger in size, hidden from view partly by her billowing pigtails. From this angle, Mari has a seemingly neutral expression, but in reality, when viewed in relation to her entire body posture from the front, she is actually looking down her nose at you. And when you take her overall pose into consideration, Mari comes across as being supremely confident, bordering on arrogance. As with Asuka, the extremely tight body-hugging plug suit accentuates her slim and shapely body without making it look like someone who's anorexic. Also, from this angle, the complexity of Mari's twin pigtails can be seen up close, thus allowing you to better appreciate its design in detail. In essence, the hairstyle is a very Mari Makinami look. To project an alluring pose, the figure sculptor, namely Nobuta, had adopted a tried and true method of having Mari adopt a pose in which she bends first one way, then back the other way. When viewed from the front, you would notice Mari's torso bent towards our left, while from the waist down, her legs are generally pointed towards our right. This is an old visual arts technique in which the resulting S-curve shape is believed to signify dynamic and feminine characteristics, or in layman terms, the pose will look more sensual and energetic as opposed to looking stiff and dull. And the S-shaped stance is made more obvious by the tight body-hugging plug suit Mari wears, as it accentuates every curve in her body. Visibility of Mari's shapely figure is also inadvertently helped by a minimalist color scheme, as well as the stripes and line designs on her plug suit, which help draw attention to the natural shapes of her body. The sculpture, paint job and plug suit design all combine well in this instance. At first glance, the base that Mari is standing on seems to be a lesser version than the one Asuka had in Revolve's Evangelion Last Mission figure series, but that's not entirely the whole story. Both EVA pilots' bases had a color scheme of red and black, but while Mari's base lacks paint finish variety in that both its reds and blacks have a glossy finish, Asuka's base had reds with a mixture of glossy and matte finishes against the glossy black. Moreover, if you look closely at the details on both bases, there is a significant difference that's concealed by the similar color scheme on both bases, and that is while Asuka's base depicts broken and bent steel beams among the organic matter, Mari's has broken masonry or cement structures with their rebars exposed, also mixed among organic matter. Admittedly, Mari's base is smaller in overall size and lacks a standout design like Asuka's cross-shaped beams. However, this makes sense, as when displayed together, Mari as a supporting character serves to complement, not overshadow Asuka. Comparisons to Resolve's Asuka figure is inevitable when analyzing the characteristics of this 1/7 scale painted figure of Makinami Mari Illustrious, the pilot of EVA Unit 08 Alpha. And when you do that, Mari will always come up short compared to Asuka. But this is more a result of character design, as I've said. Mari plays more of a support role to Asuka, who is one of the most popular characters in Neon Genesis Evangelion. Mari is an excellent scale painted figure in her own right, and as such, she has lots of details that make her a good miniature rendering of an Evangelion character. From her incredible likeness and resemblance to the anime character, glasses and all, to her iconic white plug suit that she wore in the so-called last mission in the final Evangelion movie, and all the way to her elaborate base that comprises elements from scenes in the movie. This figure is a near-perfect recreation of Mari as she's seen in Evangelion 3.0+1.0, Thrice Upon A Time. Like Asuka before her, this Revolve figure of Mari has considerable shelf presence, even when seen in isolation without being paired with the other Resolve figure of Asuka. One contributing factor to Mari and her base being such an eye-catching ensemble is its total height of 27.5 cm, though of course it's not the sole reason. In terms of sculpt, Nobuta did a great job not only with Mari's face and hair, but also with her body shape and posture, the end result being a very Mari-like expression and pose. In terms of colour, I like how the painter Kawamo made her brunette hair complement the pinks of her elastic pigtail bands, as well as the pinks on the upper back of her plug suit. The predominantly white and pastel hues contrast surprisingly well against the glossy reds and blacks on the base. But one thing I didn't quite like colour-wise was the black stripes on her plug suit. I would have preferred Revolve use a dark metallic blue as seen in the movie and some illustrations of her instead of the flat black you see here. But this is only a minor gripe on my part, seeing how the plug suit still looks great with its existing colour scheme. Another feather in Resolve's cap was the successful differentiation of Mari and Asuka's base design, despite their similar colour schemes. This they did by using a fully glossy finish instead of a mixture of matte and gloss, and by sculpting masonry structures instead of steel ones. And as mentioned, the reds and blacks provide a good contrast to the piece's entire colour scheme. Meanwhile, the tight body-hugging nature of the plug suit afforded Nobuta, the sculptor, the chance to sculpt Mari's muscle tone as showing through the plug suit in a way that accentuates her shapely figure, which makes for a realistic-looking pose. It's not overdone so that Mari does not end up looking overly muscular, which would have been out of character. Her hair was the only part that was sculpted to project a sense of dynamic movement, yet it is enough, as it complements her pose perfectly well in this instance. Although Asuka would win out as the better Revolve Evangelion Last Mission scale-painted figure, Mari is an excellent figure in her own right, and one deserving of the S rank or special rating. Though not quite the quintessential Mari figure I had expected, she came really close, and her overall design makes her either a must-have as a complementary figure to Asuka, or by herself if you're a Mari fan. Well, that's all I have for this review of the Revolve 1/7 scale painted figure of Makinami Mari Illustrious. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be well and be happy.